been a long time. I just checked and it's been 5 months since I did one of these. And I'll explain why I haven't done one. It's been just a rough couple of days. I've slept most of the day today. Today is Tuesday, January 31st. I slept until about 2:30 this afternoon. I only managed to shower today. That's all I did. I only managed to do a shower, and that's saying something. At least I'm clean. I could not go to sleep the night before last night, and it was just a bad day yesterday. And I will tell you why. So, 4 months ago, my brother, J. Daniel Keister, the fourth, was approved and put on track to be my donor for a kidney transplant. And they scheduled the surgery for March 20th, 2017. So in a couple of months. And the only reason that I knew this was because Danny called me and he told me. Thank heavens. The way things work with this is that as a donor, he has his own team of people, his own consultant, his own people who are telling him what's going to go on, what he's to expect, and what he needs to do, while I have a different team who's doing the same thing for me. However, I had not heard from my transplant team. The day after Danny called me, I think it was actually on my birthday in October, he called me and told me that he was approved to be my donor. Yeah, so I was waiting to hear from transplant team, and after a week, I hadn't heard from them, and so on and so forth. And this whole time, when Danny was getting tested and everything, he was being told that they don't tell the patient very much about the testing and stuff because they don't want to get anyone's hopes up. Because they've had donors back out at the last minute, they've had all kinds of things, and so they just want to minimize the psychological trauma, I guess. And so I got that. And so I thought that they weren't telling me because it was still a ways off, like March, and this was in September or October. And so I thought that was the norm. I thought that they weren't telling me because they won't tell you until later. And it was at around Christmas time. I still hadn't heard anything. I mean, I'd heard from Danny. And Danny's team, his consultant, each patient has a consultant who guides them through everything and gives them all the paperwork. And Danny's consultant was keeping him up to date and telling him what was going on and everything. And Danny kept sending us all this stuff that he was getting, and he was just getting ready to do this, and I hadn't heard anything. And so at around Christmas time, we decided that after the new year that I would call my transplant team and ask them what was going on, why I hadn't heard anything yet, because I mean it was coming up in March and we need to prepare. So I kept forgetting about it, and Mom kept bothering me to do it in this past month, and I finally emailed them over the weekend, this past weekend, and it turns out that I was forgotten about. I'm not even kidding. My consultant, who I've had trouble with before, and I won't get into it, he emailed me back and he goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm embarrassed to say that I dropped the ball." And those are his words. Drop the ball. As in my life. I mean, this is my life, and he seemed to treat it so lightly, and that's part of what made me so furious. I was enraged yesterday, and I was at dialysis. I was sitting in the chair, trapped there, and when I found this out, and I was so mad. It was an oversight. they had forgotten about me and forgotten to tell me that I had a donor and that I was scheduled for surgery. First thing I did, which is usually first thing I always do, is I tell Cecily. I texted her and I forwarded her the email that he sent me, and she was like, "Oh no." Cause she's all about like the corporate stuff and like, you know, having deadlines and all this stuff, and she was just like, "Please let me write him, please let me email him back and slay him with my words." And she ended up writing a draft, and I added to it, and I sent it to him, and it was pretty good. I'm not going to read the whole thing because I'll just get upset again. But it was pretty good because, I mean, this whole time, it's been 4 months since Danny's been approved for this. And I haven't heard a peep. I haven't heard a peep since I was put on the list in May. That I haven't heard a damn thing. But anyway, sent that scathing email. He called me also yesterday morning and left a message on my phone. And after that scathing email that we sent yesterday, he called me this morning and left a very groveling message, and he also sent a very groveling email. And I called him back this afternoon after I woke up from the dead, and he was just very apologetic, and that's what I wanted. I wanted him, because his first email said embarrassed and dropped the ball and all those. Just makes me twitch. And it's like, well, oh, embarrassed? You're embarrassed? You should be ashamed. You should feel like complete crap because of what you did. What you didn't do, I should say. And I got the feeling later on today, after talking to him and stuff, that he does feel like complete crap. And that's what I wanted. I wanted him to be actually sorry. Because this... How do you do that? How do you overlook? It's your job. It's your freaking job. How do you overlook something like that? Telling someone like, oh, by the way, this life-saving surgery is happening. But at any rate, it is happening. And I haven't, this whole time, I haven't thought of it as official because I haven't heard from my transplant team. And so now it is official, and I'm still trying to wrap my brain around it. So what I do know, what will happen, it's on, surgery is on March 20th. It's on a Monday. I don't know how long it will be. I don't know what's involved yet because I haven't been told anything. But from what I understand, what I was told today when I called my consultant, is that we have a pre-op appointment, both Danny and I do, and it's just an overview of everything. It'll be the week before surgery, because Danny's going to be flying out here about a full week before the surgery, just so he can get settled and so we can get all the prep done. And so there's a pre-op appointment, they do some blood work, and they go over the operation and what to expect and everything. And we meet with everybody, we meet with the nurses and the surgeons and everything, and it's a pretty long appointment. And the surgery on Monday. And then we meet again, have another appointment a week after the surgery. Well, Danny does, and I will too, as soon as I get my stuff set up. Gosh, it's just, I feel like I would know so much more if it wasn't for that ineptitude. But what's done is done. And he even said to me, he said over the phone, he's like, I understand if you want to have someone else take over and set up your appointments and stuff. And I said, no, that's okay. I told him, I was like, that's okay. You can, let's just move on from here because we don't have a lot of time left. Let's just get it done. And so he is staying my consultant. And he, and right now, I mean, I can ask him to jump up and down and dance for me because he's very apologetic, which he should be. So that's what's going on as far as I know. I'm gonna go and put some more laundry in. And I think I'm gonna go and play some Star Wars Battlefront because I still want to shoot something.